My name is Tony and I'm a professional pooper scooper, and today I'm going to share some of the horror stories I had in this business. So let's get started. The winter season was really rough this year. There were a couple people who complained about the snow melting after I was already there and revealing all of the poop that's been left in the yard by accident.
Hi, I don't mean to be a pest, but I came to do some stuff in the yard and there were a ton of dog waste that wasn't picked up.
I replied, "Thank you for letting me know. It must have melted throughout the day since it was a bit warmer." That day, I went to her house in the morning and the yard was completely covered in snow, and all the snow must have melted after I left, and it revealed the poop that I obviously missed because it was covered up.
I'm not sure how to handle as most snow has been cleared by this morning and I was charged $50.
It was
not cleared of snow.
There was so much snow that day. I charged $25 for 3 dogs a week and I picked up 2 weeks of poop today that was not covered by snow. Half of the yard of the fence line away from the gate was still covered in ice and snow. I've been cleaning your yard consistently since February 11th. The guarantee I can provide is that the yard is going to be maintained when I have visibility to clean it up.
Okay, what I went out and saw was all in the middle of the yard and not the fence line. Ugh.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to double check the middle of the yard next time. And then she sent me a picture of where she found all of the poop.
In the circle, I counted about 15 piles. Sorry, I hate complaining or feeling ungrateful, but I am pinching pennies as it is.
That's a key indicator right there. If you start having a customer telling you that they're penny pinching, they're struggling with the money, that is a red flag that they will be a trouble customer in the future. She mentioned that she's complaining, but it's important for my customers to feel like they're getting the correct value. I never want someone to feel like they can't complain to me or bring up a situation that I could do better. I don't think you're complaining. That part of the yard was not visible when I showed up this morning. I walked right over that section multiple times this morning, as well as put my first bag on the fence line when I changed to the second bag. And I offered if she wanted me to come back.
I don't want you to waste a trip, maybe when you're just in the area, or can you comp me next week?
My fellow scoopers, if you mess up because of things that are within your control, maybe you should comp them. But I'm not in the business of doing service for free. I am in the pet waste removal business, and I'm picking up their dog poop and I'm going to charge accordingly. Even though I already went there, I offered to go back a second time. I am on my way and I'm outside. But that was just a small indication of further issues she was just going to have for me. After that incident, I made sure to take pictures of her yard every time I scooped to show that, like, hey, I went to the yard and look at the area that's being covered in snow. So there's not much I can do other than picking up the poop the next time I go visit. And here's the last issue she had with me.
Hey, just a heads up. The neighbor went to mow yesterday and there's a ton of waste that's getting missed on the south yard.
I need proof. I need to know what I'm doing wrong, so I asked her, do you have any pictures of the area?
I made my daughter hurry and clean it up so the neighbor could mow.
I will need pictures of the area when there's poop left so I know what to look for.
Oh well, just old dry poop, not the fresh stuff that's within a day or so.
You're telling me that there's old dry poop in the yard and you haven't said anything to me after I've been servicing you for a couple of weeks?
I'm not so sure.
And I asked her again, do you have any pictures of the south yard?
Yes, I'll go get some.
And she sent me a picture of the south yard, when that's an area that I would always scoop all the time. So perfect, I'll keep an eye out on that area. And then she said,
My husband said he'll take care of the yard since our neighbor was upset and he was embarrassed about it.
I feel bad for the husband. If there was really old poop that needed to be picked up, why wasn't anything said to me beforehand? During the winter season, it was super rough. I had a handful of customers who just tried to take advantage of the situation. This one customer, he had services for every other week, literally for 2 to 3 months straight. He kept telling me to cancel the appointment or to reschedule because the yard was covered in snow.
We don't need your service today. I'm so sorry I forgot to message you and totally forgot to text you, but we won't be needing your service today. If not today, we actually picked up the poop 2 days ago before the snow.
February 14th.
Hi Anthony, can we hold off on the appointment for today? It snowed last night, maybe next week.
February 21st.
Hi Anthony, are you able to stop by today?
And I told him the truth. My route is currently full today as your appointment is scheduled for next week. He has every other week service. He wants to just be plugged in whenever it's convenient for him, and that's not how it works. You can't allow your customers to dictate your schedule. You can put them where it works for you, and sometimes that might be today, but sometimes that might be a couple of weeks from now.
Oh, all right then. But if you can squeeze us in or anybody cancels today, let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, that didn't happen. February 28th.
I don't think you need to come over today. Everything is covered with snow. Again.
March 14th.
Hey Anthony, I don't think we need your service for today. Thank you.
So it's been since probably December since I last scooped him. And he said he scooped in the beginning of January. How many times do our customers say,
Yeah, I scooped a couple of weeks ago.
but it's been a couple of months ago. March 15th, the next day,
Hi, do you have any availability today? Can you squeeze me in?
I messaged him. What happened yesterday?
It was still covered with snow, but today it's melted already.
I just told him how it is. My schedules are booked in advance, especially now with the busiest time of the year. When was the last time the yard was scooped up? Since it's been a while, it most likely will need to be treated as an initial cleaning and that will need to be scheduled. He didn't reply to me, so I put him for 2 weeks later. With all the yards covered by snow, I will be holding off on today's appointment. Unfortunately, he was just one of those people that got screwed over by the snow. Finally, in April, I was able to get him on the schedule. I'm on my way for your scooping appointment.
Okay, just go out back.
Probably pulled out like 3 or 4 bags worth, scooped it all up. His card declined, of course, and I had to do some back and forth to finally get paid. And then the next time he was scheduled to be serviced, he told me that he was moving and he didn't need service anymore. One of the most frustrating customers I had to deal with because I just didn't know if I needed to show up. So with the spring rush and all the snow melting, I had a couple of customers who had my service last year finally reschedule again because they wanted to get their yard cleaned up. Once she was ready to get back on the schedule, I made her fill out my intake form just so I can gather her information. On my intake form, there is a field that someone has to select where it says a card is required on file for weekly service. Do you agree? And she selected yes. I did her appointment and I get this message from her.
Did you automatically charge my card?
Yes, I did for $16.
How do you have my card information?
Because your card was saved on file when you made your deposit and when you made payment last week. She popped off.
No, I want that removed right away. My card should never be saved. You can invoice me weekly and I will pay you. Please remove it.
Now, I wanted to hold my ground and let her know that's not how it's gonna work. A card will be required for weekly service. She got me on this one.
I always pay you and have never saved a card on file.
That was last year when I didn't have a lot of my policies in place. One of the changes to my business was having a mandatory card on file with all deposits and a card on file for weekly service.
I never agreed to having a card on file.
Even though she selected the checkbox on my intake form that says, I agree. A card on file was required when you submitted a deposit. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was in the middle of other scoops and I told her, I will remove your card. And I kept her on the schedule. And you know what ended up happening?
She was bamboozling me the whole time.
I did her scoops for a couple of weeks and I started to notice that there was more and more poop in the yard than normal. One day, I just happened to hear 2 dogs barking inside of her yard. I love when dogs snitch on their owners because they don't know any better. They're just happy to see people. But I was like,
Oh shit.
those are 2 dogs I hear. So immediately after, I sent her a message. I noticed there's been significantly more poop than normal the last few weeks and I heard 2 dogs barking from the window. How many dogs are being scooped after?
We have 2 dogs. We just got another one when my boyfriend moved here about 2 weeks ago.
And luckily she was nice about it.
I added a $15 tip to make up for the last couple of weeks. Sorry, forgot to tell you.
It just goes to show that when a customer loses a dog, when the dog dies, they will jump immediately to tell you like,
My dog died. Can you lower my rate?
but the moment they get an extra dog, they never tell you. Most of the time you find out after the fact and it's super annoying. I received this message when I was doing one of my marketing campaigns on Facebook. She just sent the message, stop. Stop what?
Remove me from your list.
I don't know what list you're referring to.
Stop sending me requests.
Are you referring to Facebook? Because I don't see your name in my system. And she never replied, so I just blocked her. I still don't know what she was referring to. Now this next customer, it was just super frustrating. He was very curt, didn't really communicate that well. He was also outside my service area. One day he just didn't want the service anymore. He signed back up a couple months later. I didn't want to work with him. I told him, because you're outside my service area, I'm only going to do your appointment every 2 weeks instead of weekly. And oh, by the way, I'm going to charge extra. I was trying to just make him not say yes. And he ended up saying yes, even though I was charging a lot more than what I typically do. I sent him the invoice for twice a week service. And this is the message I got.
I didn't know it was double the money if you come every other week. You only come one time, so it's not double the time. And even if it's double the poops to clean up, it won't take you double the time because you're covering the same area when you come. And it won't take you double the gas to get here either. So I shouldn't have to pay double the same service, even though you're only going twice a month now. Would you agree?
No, I don't agree. That's just ludicrous. A customer trying to tell you how much they should pay when it's your service and your business. No, that did not fly with me at all. It will be double the amount of poop, so I'm charging for the amount of poop that's being picked up, not the time it takes to pick up. That doesn't include the cost to haul away and dispose at the dump. It wouldn't be any different if you were on a weekly schedule. The best I can do is drop it by $4 to account for the gas and not traveling every week. Meet the customer where they're at. I didn't want to lower my prices, but he complained. I tried to offer an olive branch just to make things right. And this is what he says.
Thank you for the clarification, but here's my issue. You said that it would be the same price if I had your service every week, but the difference is I have a clean yard every week and not every other week. When you raised my price up to $22, you said that it was because of gas prices and expenses going up, so you can't say that it's fair for me to pay double even though you're using half the gas.
Which is a fair point. Whenever you consider raising your prices, don't put reasons like inflation or gas prices, because when inflation goes down and gas prices goes down, are you going to lower your prices? I don't think so. Just say your prices are being raised by this amount and it's going to start on this date.
It's not fair to me, and I prefer to have a clean yard every week instead of every other week. If you only want to do it every other week, I understand, but I will not pay double for the same service even if it's double the amount of poop.
That sounds like a line in the sand to me. I was sick and tired of it. I did not want to work with this person anymore. Sounds good. I will charge $22 for the visit. It doesn't appear we are a good fit for you, so I will go ahead and cancel future appointments. And I fired him. So that was a lesson learned for me. You're going to need to raise your prices eventually if you want to continue scaling and growing your business. I really suggest don't use gas prices and inflation as the reason why. This next one's a doozy. This was a Spring Rush customer last year. I started using Jobber at this point. I sent him my quote. I explicitly wrote out, I'm charging by the bag. Here is the cost per bag. Here is your required deposit. They agreed to the terms. They paid the deposit. I pulled out 5.5 bags of poop from their yard. The guy never said thank you. I sent him the invoice for the 5.5 bags, but he didn't pay it. So the next day, because I still had his card on file, I just charged the card and I ended up getting this email.
Help me understand how this went from $80 to $167.
I wrote, thank you for the question. The initial quote indicates a $25 charge for every additional bag of waste removed after the first bag. I've removed 5.5 bags total of waste, which would be 4.5 additional bags removed for $112.50. The quote also indicates the final invoice is subject to change depending on how many additional bags of waste was removed. I have attached the signed quote for your review. Please let me know if you have any questions. A deposit is required to be added on the schedule. Final invoice subject to change depending on how many additional bags of waste are removed. You're telling me that you signed a quote and you paid money for a service and you're not reading what the quote and the terms are? A couple of months later, all that drama with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp was happening and it was just taking the internet by storm. I decided to use an Amber Heard meme as one of my marketing material, and I posted a picture of Amber Heard taking a shit. And that picture went viral. I ended up getting hundreds of likes and shares, and a lot of people were just commenting. It was really fun. One of those messages was from this customer's wife. She said,
Not only am I disgusted by this picture, I'm disgusted with the predatory business practices and prices of this pooper scooper.
What the hell are you talking about? I panicked. I blocked her immediately. I went on Facebook. I blocked him so they can never comment again. She had the audacity to leave a negative comment on my post because her husband didn't read what he was signing. I just don't understand people sometimes. And this was actually the first time someone questioned me about my prices after the service has been completed. And if it wasn't for having Jobber as my CRM, this probably would have been a really bad situation where I didn't have any proof of what we agreed to, his card on file, and I might have lost out on money because they were just unhappy with paying more than what they initially thought. So I'm really glad I had Jobber as my CRM to help me keep track of all these things, gather payments as soon as possible, manage the overall customer experience that I want my clients to have. So as a Jobber ambassador, I have a special bonus for you today. You'll get my sweet discount if you sign up to Jobber through my link, but I have 2 very special bonus items just for you. The first bonus I have for you is if you sign up to Jobber through my link, I'm going to send you my Jobber cheat sheet for pooper scoopers. It has a list of all of the configurations, all the products and services, all of my email templates that I personally use for Jobber. That way, when you're using Jobber during your free trial, you can just use my cheat sheet and plug in all the pieces of info that you need just to get started right away, and it'll help you save a lot of time when you're starting up. The second bonus is if you subscribe to one of Jobber's paid plans, I will personally give you a free coaching call and walk through Jobber with you and get you set up for success. So if you want to try out Jobber and take your business to the next level, make sure you click the links down below and I'll send you those free bonuses whenever you sign up. Though it's nice to know how to respond to a customer when they're unhappy with your service, how do you respond to someone who's just trolling your page? You can click this video right here where you can see the response I had to this troll telling me to get a real job, as well as more questions I answered from other pooper scoopers. And I'll see you on the next scoop. And as always, acknowledge the now. Bye.